This is Stefan Schmidt for InsiderIowa.com. This week has been one of the most interesting and spectacular political car accidents in Washington, D.C. This is the week when President Obama and the Republicans sat down, hammered out an agreement on taxes and some other revenue issues. And what they came up with essentially was that they will continue the Bush tax cuts both for the middle class and for the rich. That was the Republicans' non-negotiable position. Obama really preferred to give the middle class tax cuts another couple of years, but allow the taxes to raise on higher income groups, but he couldn't get anywhere with the Republicans on that. And then he, for his part, negotiated actually an additional tax cut for the middle class. People will be able to have a less deduction on their Social Security and their payroll taxes. And he also got an extension of unemployment insurance for another year for the roughly 2 million people who would lose that insurance in the next couple of weeks before Christmas. However, the Republicans then came back and also said, well, we also want to have the inheritance tax lowered so that people who leave money to their relatives or others don't have to pay such a high tax on it. And that was the package that President Obama ended up announcing. Well, as you might imagine, and as you will remember, the backlash from liberals was fierce. Liberals have not liked the what they feel is Obama's capitulation to the Republicans all for the last 2 years. He has met them halfway or more. He has allowed the Republicans to use their veto power in the Senate, their threat of a filibuster, to basically shape laws, including the health care reform, which the Democrats and President Obama, who have a majority still in the House and Senate, wanted to pass. So the Republicans as a minority party have managed to, through threats of a filibuster in the Senate, basically mold a lot of the laws and policies that the Obama administration has passed. In turn, the members of the Democratic delegation in the House and in the Senate have erupted into what can only be described as an uprising, as a rebellion in the last day or so. They have said that they are not going to vote for the deal that Obama cut with the Republicans. They don't like it. They think it's unfair. They think that it, in fact, really burdens the middle class to some extent, leaves the wealthiest Americans who have been getting richer and richer over the past 8 years with even more money in their pockets. And what they really didn't like was that President Obama largely cut the deal with the Republicans in the White House without having the Democratic leaders involved in the discussion. So what we have now, and this will probably stick going forward for the next 2 years of the Obama administration, is an uprising by liberals, by Democrats, and by his own party against President Obama, and some very bad blood over how he has conducted himself over the past 2 years. President Obama held a news conference in which he blistered the liberals and said, I have passed some big legislation, including health care reform. I'm going to want to pass this stimulus package, which is what it is, of tax cuts for the middle class right before Christmas. And those are big accomplishments when you have a very resistant Republican Party. He was very angry, actually, at liberals especially, which means Democrats. And so there is this amazing tension now in the Democratic Party. And of course, next year the Republicans take over the House and have even more members in the Senate, which means next year it'll be even harder for the Obama administration to accomplish a great deal in the legislative area and maybe even in foreign policy because the Republicans will have such clout. So this has been, to me, an almost unprecedented week, with the Democrats erupting into almost visible warfare. And we will have to watch this very carefully and see how the Democrats manage to conduct themselves going forward. This is Stephan Schmidt for InsiderIowa.com.